I'm pretty obsessed with running. I don't want to do anything like half-heartedly. I don't want to look back and think like, oh, I wish I'd focus more on recovery or I'd focus more on better sleep. I just want to look back and know that everything I gave 100% and then I can be happy. Everything 24/7 is about running, recovery, running. I only switch off after a race when I've had a good result. I'd like to be remembered as someone that never gave up. My name is Charlotte Purdue, two-time British Marathon champion and currently training for the Paris 2024 Olympics. When I was younger, I won the European cross-country champs. That was a pretty big day for me. And then following on from that, probably this year qualifying for the Olympics, my proudest moment. All of the years come together. I remember first starting running at school, secondary school. My friend signed me up for a cross country and then did the cross country, came fourth out of the year group, so not even like one or anything, but top 6 went to represent the school. So I went to that race and I came 16th, and at the end of the race there was a coach there and he was like, oh, I saw how you started at the back and you worked your way through and I think you could be a great runner. Why don't you come to my running club? So I went down to the running club like twice a week and I just enjoyed like the social stuff more than the running, to be honest. I was like, oh, this is fun. Made new friends, went to the races, and then yeah, discovered that I was like, oh, I'm actually pretty good at this stuff. As I started to get like better and better, and I started watching running obviously then because I was like more into it. So I watched the Olympics, and Kelly Holmes was actually my mentor growing up. When I was like 15, I started winning quite a lot, more on cross country than the track, but I did get injured quite a lot as well. I was training pretty hard as a junior. Every day was like, run as fast as you can, because I thought the only way to be good was to basically smash training every day. But now as I've grown up as a senior, I obviously know that recovery is important. Doing all the little 1% is as important as the hard training sessions, whereas as a junior I wasn't into that. I was always about like hard training, batter your body, but you can't do that every day and get a long career and get results. And I think now that's why I've had such a long career, is because I've focused more on recovery and doing all the little things. So 2012 was the first Olympics that I tried to go for. It was, yeah, 10K on the track. They had back then like an A standard and a B standard, and the policy basically meant if they had someone who ran an A standard, they could take 3 people with an A. But if they didn't have anyone with an A standard, they could take people with a B standard. So I went to this race and I ran the B standard, but 2 other girls had run the A standard, so they couldn't take me because I didn't have the A. I was really disappointed not to make it, but I knew I was young still in the sport, so I wasn't ever thinking of quitting. I was just thinking, next Olympics, I got to make the next one. I changed coaches because of all the injuries and I just needed like a fresh change. Basically, I was kind of like stuck in this rut of like 6 months, get injured 6 months. So I was like, I need to change something. And my current coach, Nick, started coaching me 2013, 2014. As soon as I started getting coached by him, he was like, you should move to the marathon. No point wasting your time in the 10K. You're not going to be a 10K runner. So he was like all in on me making the team for 2016 Olympics. So my first marathon was going to be the Olympic trials in 2016. I had to run the standard and come in the top 3, so it was a big ask, but I kind of secretly was a bit confident that I was going to do it. And I finished 3rd in the race, but I didn't get the time. So the time was 2:31 and I ran 2:32. I literally crossed the line, saw the time, and I think I cried like straight away, and everyone was like, why are you crying? You just ran your first marathon in 2:32, like it's a really good result. And I was just like, I haven't made the Olympics. I don't think I was ever going to stop because that was my first marathon, so I kind of got the marathon buzz then. Even though I didn't make the team, I was like, I really want to go all in on the marathon now. I thought I could improve for sure, so even though I missed the Olympics, I still had way bigger goals then. 2019, I ran a massive PB 225, which was a qualifier for the next Olympics. So I thought that put me like in the driving seat for the next Olympics. Then obviously COVID happened, and yeah, then that kind of like put a spanner in the works, because then the Olympics got postponed. Picked up an injury like late December, which meant I had to have like 6 weeks off, and the British Athletics medical team decided that it was too high risk for me to run the trials. They said, oh, you're in a safe position, you've got the time, don't run the trials because you'll have to get ready for a marathon really quick. So they were basically telling me just to train but to get ready for the Olympics. So in the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get selected. No one had run faster. And then yeah, the selection day came around and I got a call saying I wasn't selected because I was too high risk of re-injury. That was probably the worst, the worst phone call that I've got, yeah. Scenario was that I was on British Athletics funding, so they knew like my whole medical history up to that point. So he'd seen all the other injuries that I'd had in my career. So they just decided in the meeting, oh, Charlotte's probably too high risk of a re-injury, so we won't select her. But I'd say that was probably the closest I have been to quitting, just because I really was like, felt like I was in my peak and I was all in for that Olympics, and I felt like at that point I'd done everything right to get to that team, and I did feel like I deserved to be on the team. So that was, yeah, probably like a real tough moment. 2023, my goal was just to get the Olympic qualifier. So I had all of 2023 to try and get it, or early 2024, but I knew I just wanted to get it in the bag in 2023. Decided to do Berlin because I knew it was a fast course, and also it's a course mixed with the men. But yeah, I got the qualifier in Berlin. So 2024, myself and one other British marathon runner in the female race, we were like the first two athletics people to be selected. My first goal is making it to the start line because I don't want to have put in all this work and then not get there. So I'm focused obviously really a lot on recovery, making sure I'm injury free, getting to the start line of the Olympics. And then once I'm there, I think, you know, anything can happen. So just trying to stay fit, healthy, and then I've seen the course, it's pretty savage, so that makes me more excited because anything can happen on the day. As an older athlete, I would say recovery is like really important now. Like I said, as a junior, picking up injuries, probably like a bit more blasé about recovery, like didn't think it was important, but now recovery is almost as important as training. It's like the routine every day of getting the training done, focusing on all the 1%, but just layering them on top of each other, that now when you do that, you do start to see results. It's not a quick fix, especially not for the marathon. It's all about like layers and just getting everything done. And I think as the years go on, getting older, like now reaching my peak, it's taken so many years to get there. But if I look back, it's literally just about doing the same thing every single day that's helped me get the results. Every day, like non-negotiables for recovery is the supplements that I take, the magnesium, unwind before bed, cordyceps. I use the balm mostly in the evenings after training. Just always put it on my legs. It smells nice, and yeah, I feel like just for recovery it's really, really great. The fact that Pure Sport is informed sport is like one of the most important things for me, because as an athlete we get drug tested all the time, and I just would never want to go into a drug test knowing that there was a chance that something could be contaminated. So just having peace of mind as an athlete, knowing that a product is informed sport, is the number one thing. I wouldn't be using a product if it wasn't informed sport personally. You don't want to put in all the hours of training to have something come back and be contaminated, and then you can't compete. My name is Charlotte Purdue, and this is why I choose Pure Sport.